This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That's just a little flavour of what I've got for you today. I'm sort of changing these Monday videos around a little bit. I'm still going to be doing the Monday solo analysis videos where we take a look at, either a classic solo from the canon of rock or blues guitar, or maybe some slightly obscure ones that just appeal to me. I'm still going to be doing that, but we're doing that every other week now, and interspersed with those videos on like kind of this week and then every 2 weeks from here on in for the foreseeable future. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an intro guide to playing lead guitar. I did a video like this a while ago now with Budget Guitar Show Johnny, and that seemed to do rather well, so it's been kind of at the back of my mind for a while to maybe expand on that a little bit. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the scale that you're going to need to play to be able to kind of make your own lead guitar solos. It is aimed at the complete newbie to lead guitar, so I've tried to make it as accessible as possible. There are no string bends or anything like that to worry about in today's video. It's all just about where you need to put your fingers, and we'll talk a little bit at the end of the video about, once you've learned where your fingers need to go to, what you can do to make it sound more like a solo rather than a scale. But I'm going to be doing another video on that topic in itself later on in this series. So I'll tell you what, here's a little bit of an explanation about, well, as I said, where you need to put your fingers. Here is the explanation. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is play this G note here at the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Then we're going to move up to the A note at the 5th fret on the same string. Then we're going to move to the 5th string at the 3rd fret and play this C note. And then after that, we're going to take the 5th fret on the 5th string and play this D note. Our next note is up at the 7th fret on the same string, and we slide up to that, and that's an E. So we get that little sequence of notes there. Then we begin the same pattern again here at the 5th fret on the 4th string with this G note. Then we play the A note at the 7th fret on the 4th string. Then we move across to the 5th fret on the 3rd string, this C note. Then we go to the 7th fret on the 3rd string, the D note. And then once again, once we reach the D note, we slide up to the E note at the 9th fret on the 3rd string. And then we begin the same run again on the 8th fret, G note on the 2nd string. Then let's play the A note at the 10th fret on the 2nd string. And then we move on to the 1st string for the C note at the 8th fret. And then we go to the D note at the 10th fret on that string. And then we slide that up to the 12th fret E note on the first string. So the 3 cycles of that scale go like this. There's the first cycle, then the second cycle, then the final cycle. And you should also learn to be just as adept at descending that those runs of notes like this. Like that. And that is the scale that you need to learn. So, as we have seen, the notes that are in the scale, let's take another look at it. Here it is. The notes in the scale are G, A, C, D and E, and then that just repeats with every cycle of the scale. Now, out of those 5 notes, the G, the A, the C, the D and the E, we can make 2 chords. If we take the A, the C and the E notes out of the scale, we get an A minor chord. If we take the C, the E and the G notes out of the scale, those 3 notes give us a C major chord, and there are those 2 chords like that. Any way that you choose to play an A minor chord in any of the voicings that you may have learned on the guitar, bar chord, open chord, whatever, it will only ever contain the notes of A, C and E, and the same thing is true for the C major chord. Any C major chord, whether it's played anywhere on the neck or on any instrument or by a full symphony orchestra, if it's a C major chord, it will contain the notes of C, E and G. And the significance of that is that these are the only 2 chords, the only 2 major and minor chords, let's say, that can be made from the notes of this scale. There simply aren't enough notes available in the scale to make any kind of D major or D minor chord. Same is true for E major or E minor. There aren't enough notes in the scale. And the same can be said for the G major or G minor chord. That, you know, the only 2 notes in that scale which can be expanded into fully fledged major or minor chords are the A note, which will give us an A minor if we add the C and the E note to it, and the C note, which will give us a C major if we add the E and the G to it. So that means that this little 5-note scale of G, A, C, D, E has a very, very strong bond, a strong kinship with those 2 chords, the A minor chord and the C major chord. That means that we name the scale after either or of those 2 chords. The A minor pentatonic looks like this, and so does the C major pentatonic. They are one and the same thing. And what defines whether it's an A minor pentatonic or a C major pentatonic is the context that it's placed in. Here's a quick little solo where I'm using this very pattern here to play some licks over a backing track that's kind of largely centered around a C major chord. And then here's the exact same solo. This isn't a different performance, this is the same performance of me playing the same notes. All I did was just kind of slide a different backing track underneath it. This time the backing track is heavily centered around an A minor chord, and notice how the same notes, the same note choices that I make, the same licks that I play from this pattern here, all just work equally as well over an A minor context. So hopefully you could hear that that little solo worked just as well over the A minor context as it did over the C major context. One final thing to note is that, and I get this all the time, people will say, but it starts on a G, so why isn't it some kind of G scale? And this is a common misconception. A scale doesn't have to start on its root note. There will be, various versions and ways of playing any particular scale, and we're going to look at different ways that we can play the pentatonic scale throughout these videos that I'm going to be doing. But there is no rule that states that every version of the scale has to begin, or the lowest note in every version of the scale has to be the root note. So this scale here is defined, as I say, by the fact that it contains the notes that make up these two chords and no other chords, and the note that it starts on is of, well, no relevance at all in terms of the naming of the scale. So that's it. That is the A minor and or C major pentatonic scale. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find both of those solos. Is it two solos or is it just one? It's the same performance, just with a different backing track underneath. Anyway, there's a full tab for what I played, let's say. A full tab for what I played in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with both the C major and the A minor backing track, and that explanation you've just seen there. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, to get all of these tabs and jam tracks and all this kind of stuff, it's $3 a month. There is another tier that I've just introduced where you get a monthly Zoom call, twice monthly Zoom call with me, and one or two other benefits that I'm working on as well. But if you're just after the tabs and the jam tracks, $3 or roughly £3 a month, and the link is in the description. And of course, a massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that way or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description too. So in order to make it not sound like you're playing a scale, well, here's just a brief few words on that. When you play a scale, when you kind of practicing a scale, when you start at the bottom of the scale and work your way all up to the top, then work your way all the way back down again, that is what makes it sound like a scale. You're playing the notes in the sequence that they occur in the scale. You're playing every note for the same amount of time, and you're not leaving any gaps between the notes. So if you basically avoid those three things, if you avoid always playing the notes in sequence, maybe kind of go up a little bit and then backtrack, zigzag around a little bit. Of course, you really do need to know the scale pattern, the fingering inside out, so that you don't get lost when you're doing that. But just kind of vary it up a little bit, go up a bit, come down a bit, leave a pause. Have some notes that last longer than others, and have some notes which are much shorter than others. And if you kind of break it up like that and make it sound just a little bit less scale-like, then it's going to sound more like a solo than a scale. As I say, there is another video on this dedicated to this entire topic of what we call phrasing that I'm going to be doing later on in this series. But for now, I think it's sufficient for you to just have a go at the solos. If you're one of my Patreon supporters, grab the tabs from the Patreon post. Just learn where to put your fingers, have a go at the solos, and have a little bit of fun with it as you're just kind of getting your feet wet in the world of lead guitar for the first time. And that is the video for today, folks. Hope you found it entertaining and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell in case you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, regular as clockwork. We just have a beer and chat about stuff, basically. Often it's music and guitars, but often it's just completely random topics that crop up in the chat. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.